We are talking about India's independence and the 75 years that have passed so far. So, what India has developed in these times, be it agriculture, be it education, be it the space technology or digital development. So, let's have a quick overview on the developments done so far. First of all, let's understand that India is one of the third largest economies in terms of purchasing power parity, and we have significantly combated the efforts for the COVID pandemic that has been there. We have a democratic setup, and here are some of the major features as we know for a democratic setup, which basically includes free and fair elections, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, establishment of a constitution, a social contract, and participation by common people. Now, when we talk about freedom of expression, we also understand that India has been standing to the preamble of the constitution, which focuses on the sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic aspects. And we believe in a fair and a just society. We have a good visionary leadership with enlightened policy making system, which allows us to bring in new reforms, amendments in the constitution as and when required. Also, there is independence of judiciary, which is considered as an independent pillar. So, executive, legislature, and judiciary being an independent pillar which stands unbiased. But still, India faces numerous challenges. The challenges in the form of corruption, the criminalization in politics. Then there is differences in the youth, different languages being spoken, ethnic differences that are there. Now, when we focus on developing India, a new vision for 2022, what are the major landmarks and the focuses that we basically direct our goals to? First is bringing in foreign direct investment, ease of doing business. India has exceptionally increased its rank in construction permit from 184 to 27, and the ease of doing business has been significantly simplified. Similarly, a lot of foreign direct investment has come in. 100% FDI has been allowed in contract manufacturing and the automatic route in coal mining. Similarly, Digital India campaign has been working for e-governance. We have various setups like Aadhaar, RuPay, GSTIN. Then we have the government e-marketplace. Besides that, financial inclusion, the Jantan accounts, opening of bank accounts, then digital education as of now during the pandemic time. And then we also focus on digital health, where we are trying to bring in all the health systems under one. And when we focus on vaccination, even through the COVID app is one of the major aspects that we have achieved. So definitely digital developments have been remarkable in India. Then planning commission, which has been named as Niti Aayog, has been taking developmental challenges and identified five areas where we focus on delta ranking. Those are health and nutrition, education, agriculture, financial inclusion, and basic infrastructure. And those would be some of the goals that we would be focusing today. Now, under the Sustainable Development Goal 6, we have been working for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and clean water and sanitation in India. Also, we have some other initiatives, as we said, the Aadhaar, which is the world's largest biometric database with nearly a database of 125 crore people. Also, we have released the Mudra scheme, which is a credit scheme for the small farming and non-farming, micro and small enterprises, we could say. And there have been numerous agricultural reforms, be it the Mudra scheme, be it the soil health cards, be it the government e-marketplace where the products could be sold. So those are some of the major developments. Now coming on to the changes that have come up. Now, changes in terms of industrial policy, we have seen a lot of development at district level. Small MSMEs have been promoted. We are also talking about technology and innovation, a good startup system. We also focus on civil and aviation and railways separately. So in civil and aviation, we have a new air cargo policy that has come up for the first time. We focus on regional connectivity through the Udan scheme, and numerous unserved airports, helicopters, and water drones have been awarded in the last 28 months. We are also focusing on an approach in railways changing from passengers to customers, so bringing in extra budgetary resources, bringing in better infrastructural facilities and sustainable development with transparency has been one of the major ideas. The next is bamboo research has been promoted. Now bamboo has been shifted to a category of grass, and therefore production of bamboo and products made out of bamboo have been popularized recently. Then education, as we said, is one of the major fundamentals. We have a land of scholars, so Charak, Shushastru, Aryabhat, Vahamihir, all of those from the top universities of Nalanda, Takshila have been part of India. And then now, as of now, we focus on accessible, quality, affordable, accountable, and education which could provide a support for all. So we have seen that India has been in the Global Innovation Index for the first time at a rank of 48, which is indeed a remarkable achievement. Then employment ratings have been coming up, where UK and US has shown a decline, but on the other hand, India's ranking has significantly improved. We are standing with 21 institutions in the QS ranking as well. And pre and post independence, we have seen a series of reforms which we have covered in our separate lectures on higher education. So Lord Macaulay was the one who started with emphasis on languages, and then focusing on the developments. And since then, since post independence, we have a series of development that has come in for the national education, and the recent 2020 national education policy, which focuses on reduction of curriculum, bringing in much more intensive and vocational education allied with the core curriculum, has been important. The national education policy we have covered in 6 separate volumes, so just go back and refer that. Very important for this time. And then we also have the literacy report standing, where we have around 74% literacy as of now, as compared to only 14% at the time of independence. Also, when it comes to space development, India has successfully developed a lot during the last few years. We have been working on the space program with the formation of the Indian National Committee on Space Research, which has been important. A space science center has been established at Thumba. We also have a fishing hamlet at Thiruvananthapuram. Then we are also focusing on the first launch of the satellite Sputnik 1, and now we are focusing on the Sputnik vaccine from Russia. So the same name, easy to remember. Then we had the series of SLVs, ASLV, PSLV, that have been launched. Aryabhat was one of the India's satellite program, which started in 1975, which had been important. Later on, we had observation satellites like Bhaskar 1 and 2, which have been important. Then Apple, which was a communication satellite, India's first experimental communication satellite, which was launched with European help, had been important. Now, the details of these satellites have been mentioned here. Also, inset is important. In inset, we have the C band, extended C band, Q band, and S band providers that are there, which basically focuses on the telecommunication, radio, satellite, and social applications that are there. Now PSLV was launched. So as you can see here, we have the SLV, ASLV, PSLV, then we have the GSLV and GSLV Mark 3, which would be the basis for the Gaganyaan project that India is scheduled to release soon, which would be the first manned space project from India. Now, the 104 satellites that were launched by PSLV C-37 had been very important. Cryogenic technology had been used, and CARE technology, which is the Crew Module Atmospheric Re-entry Experiment, was part of it. Then we also focus on the Mars mission, which is the Mangalyaan, and similarly the space mission, which is the Gaganyaan. We have separately covered the classes on Gaganyaan and Mangalyaan for more details. So as we said, this session would be highlights of the achievements that we have done so far. Then PAT is again important. This is a kind of method to evacuate the crew in case of the contingency at a launch pad, and India is only fourth of such of the nations to have this technology after US, Russia, and China. So very important this time. Now in a space is another important program. So E is small here. Now Indian National Space Program and Authorization Center. Now, this basically was opened to handle the private enterprises and startups to promote and regulate the space activities and boost space economy. We are also focusing on NAVIC, which is a third generation partnership program with mobile telephony connecting the oceans across, and then GPS aided geo augmented navigation system, which is Gagan, for civilian aviation applications. Now, the next important thing that we have been focusing on is fiscal federalism. Now, fiscal federalism, we are talking about CAA, we are talking about centers transferring the power to the state, the structural change in terms of the financial reforms. We are also focusing on the increase in the united funds to the states. So those are some of the major issues that we have seen. And when it comes to the competitive cooperative federalism, here are some of the basic ideas that Niti Aayog has laid down, which focuses on sustainable development for Himalayan region, Northeast region, localization of the sustainable development goals across India, aspirational district program, which has significantly gained momentum over the last years, and then with numerous centrally sponsored schemes, we are also focusing on an era of decentralization from an era of centralized planning system. With the introduction of GST and GST Council, we were able to have a much more smoother contribution than ever before. Then also we have been focusing on strengthening the federalism through the various development support systems, the sustainable action for transforming human capital, which is the SATH program, and Niti Aayog has launched various indicators. Now, these indicators relate to water management, sustainable development goals, school education, health systems, and India's innovation systems. So those have been some of the major developments. Coming on to public health and innovation, we have been focusing on Ayushman Bharat, which was started in 2018 to provide basic health care to each and every person in India, and to cover at least the 40% of the population in India with free medicines and at least a free medical coverage for the family up to 5 lakhs. Now, the next is ICMR's contribution. Now, ICMR has started with the COVID Kavach ELISA test for antibody detection, and over the few months we have seen, with just one national virology lab in Pune, we have moved up to more than 2,100 laboratories which are conducting COVID tests across India. So definitely a remarkable development. Then we have Mission Lifeline Udan, which is a nationwide service that is started during the lockdown hours. When it comes to infrastructure, we focus on project restructuring, sourcing of the funds, agreements, tendering, finances, and dispute resolution. So there have been lots of restructuring that has been done in various aspects. So when it comes to telecom, there is a universal obligation fund. We are focusing on BOT, which is built, operate and transfer model for road sector. Also, financial risks have been taken into account, risk management plans have been developed, tendering and bidding processes have become much more smoother. There are numerous agreements that have come up to bring in more competition, more scope, and better analysis of resources, better project management, and dispute resolution becomes important. We are also focusing on areas which need regulation, for example licensing, safety, security. The national infrastructural pipeline has been important, which has been released under Ministry of Finance, which has been working with the various key aspects under the project. Then, as we said, public private partnership has been important, be it the Gramin Sadak Yojana, the national highway project, the Sagarmala scheme. All of those have been taking this into account for a sustainable period. Coming on to sports, sports have been essential for development of the nation. So we have some of the Olympic winners who have been working for more popularization of sports. Then when it comes to agriculture, India is of course an agricultural land. So we are a leading producer of food grain, cotton, sugar cane, horticulture and dairy products, and we have second ranking in terms of the total agricultural production production in the world. So with the three reforms that have come up, those are in no doubt controversies as of now, but yes, there has been opening up of the economy, corporate farming being talked about, and then we also focus on the changing weather patterns, the erratic rainfall systems occurring, and also India has been one of the nations where we have seen significant level of malnutrition and stunting problems. India is among the 10th in terms of underweight children and 17th in terms of stunted population. When it comes to technological innovations, genome sequencing has been one of the major breakthrough through the CRISPR technique and the Cas9 technology. We have been working on resource management, irrigation applications, crop protection techniques that have been there. Also, a lot of agricultural research has come up, and the internal rate of return for the agricultural research has been estimated to around 42%, which is significantly higher as compared to other researches. Then contract farming, as we said, is a new way of allowing private companies, retailers, agri firms to enter into the agricultural system in India. India's art and culture has been important. We have been following a Fibonacci series where the first two numbers are being added to produce a third number, and that's the way our art and culture has been growing, be it the music, dance, or the local art and tradition. So, with the Fibonacci series, we have an increase in the discipline, excellence, focus, attention, and values of inclusiveness. Some of the folk paintings have been very, very important. For example, Madhubani from Bihar, Worli from Maharashtra. We have Pichoi paintings from Rajasthan, and so on. Similarly, when we talk about temples, Meenakshi temple in Madurai is known for its 1000 pillars. Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu is known for around 1200 pillars on either side of the corridor, that is in a dot. Similarly, we have Konark temple, Rani Ki Vav in Patan. Then we have numerous Buddhist stupas that are there. The Sanchi stupa. We have been focusing on Spice Mag, which is basically a society for promotion of classical music and culture among the youth in India, trying to create a demand for arts. Similarly, cinema has been working tremendously with the roles of Akbar, Birbal being enlightened, and we have a separate playlist where we have covered India's art and culture in detail. Very, very important for your UPSC examination. Then, talking about some of the great women and their contribution. So, we have Rani Durgavati, the wife of the King Dalpat Shah from Gahar Mandal from Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, and she was known to fight with the Akbar's army till the last time, and also had a fierce battle with Asaf Khan, but she could not compromise the honor of the kingdom despite her life. The next is Chand Sultan or Chand Bibi. She ruled in Ahmednagar. Now, Ahmednagar, Khandesh, Bijapur, and Golconda were four big kingdoms during the time of Akbar, and Akbar was planning to attack the region of Deccan during this time. She had a huge wisdom, and Chand means Tara, so she was one of the most most beautiful and a person of wisdom during that time, and she even with burqa she was able to fight in the battlefield, and after 5 years the youngest son of Akbar, who basically was able to conquer Chand Mahal only and only because was able to conquer Ahmednagar only and only because Chand Bibi was not there. So the developments have been earmarked by the types of historical outline that we have. Tarabai was a queen of Maratha. She was the daughter-in-law of Shivaji, and she had been fighting for a lot of time. And later on, the grandson Ramjas was not able to stand, and Peshwas became the ruler after the death of Tarabai. Similarly, Begum Hazrat Mahal, she had been fighting tremendously. The last Mughal Empire, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was there, and thereafter she was the wife of Nawab Wazid Ali Khan of Awadh, and she basically distributed the ranks of nobles and advisories, and declined the ordinance that was issued by Queen Victoria that time, that signed that Indian princess shall be acceptable to Queen Victoria. Later on, we also have Rani Chinnamma. She was a queen from Kittur in Karnataka. She had learned all sorts of martial arts and had an excellent command over Kannada, Urdu, Marathi, and Sanskrit languages. She had tactfully created a strategy to phase out Britishers from the region. The next important development is AIPA, which is a kind of apex committee for implementation of Paris Agreement, under where we walk the talk, and therefore Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change had been very important. We would be operating a national authority to regulate the carbon markets in India under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, and the issuing guidelines focuses on carbon pricing, market mechanism and related institutions, and strengthening the ecosystem for managing the climate change. So those were some of the key highlights that we have talked about in Yojana. We would be covering many more interesting lectures for you. Stay tuned. Have a wonderful day.